Alright, YouTube. Right now I'm going to start putting the ball joints that I just got from Napa in my '09 Jeep JK. I figured I'd make a video and show at least one side. I'm not going to videotape both sides, but it'd be the same obviously for left and right. I'm doing all four uppers and lowers on both sides. They aren't bad enough to fail for the Pennsylvania State inspection. They're within the tolerances they give, but I occasionally get death wobble on certain bumpy roads. And it actually seems to be worse when I have a little cargo rack back there. When I have that thing hanging off the back, that's when it does it the worst. In fact, I don't even know if it's done it at all since I've had that off. But yeah, I'm going to try all four ball joints because they do all have a slight amount of play. I checked everything else out. There's a tiny bit, and I mean the slightest little bit of play in one of the tie rod ends. I may do that too, but there's definitely play in the ball joints, so I'm going to do them first and film it along the way. So hopefully this video can help someone out. It's a fairly long job to do. You do need a press and so forth to do it, but there's really nothing hard about it. You just have to have the right tools for the job, really. So if I can get my tripod set up here, I'll get the wheel off. You guys know how to take wheels off, I hope. But I'll get the wheel off and start the camera back up in a minute. Alright, I'm back. Got the wheel off. So what we're after here is the upper ball joint and kind of hard to see because it's a little dark, and the lower ball joint, this stud, and it's up in here too. But that's what we're aiming to get out here. I won't get it all out here tonight because I actually work at a garage now and most of my tools aren't here anymore. I still have some stuff, but my press is at the garage, so hopefully I can at least get it torn down to the ball joints here tonight and show you that much. But the first order of business is to get this brake caliper and bracket off. What I'm going to attempt to do is take apart as little as possible in big chunks. So what I'm going to do is take this bolt out. Let me get a look off camera here just to be sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah, that's right. This bolt, and there's another one. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to show you that other one. There's one straight down from this one. You can kind of see it down there. But yeah, two bolts to hold the caliper and bracket on. Take them out, and I'll be back when I get them out. I only have two hands, so it makes it a little interesting. I could put it on the tripod, but that's kind of a boring video. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, I'm back, and I actually didn't do anything yet other than move the camera. I think I will try to record some of it, and I did lie to you. First thing I'm going to do is take the tie rod end off right here. That way I can swing the wheel left and right, and swing the rotor left and right so I can get the stuff easier. That's the first order of business. Let me get my glove back on. Can't get dirty, of course. And I didn't even find a socket that fits that yet. It's not a 19, I'm going to guess 21. That'll do it. Alright, now it's the compressor shut off. Literally just shut off. You can hear it bleeding off. Alright, so just took the nut off the tie rod end. Now we want to hit right here. Don't hit the tie rod end. Don't hit up here. You'll mess up the threads. Just hit right here and that should free that whole arm. And it should just drop right down, hopefully. Just like that. And of course, just lightly spin the nut back on. Never hurts to keep track of your nuts. That'll work. Alright, now I'll move the camera back to the other side. And see, now you can move this whole assembly easily. And I might be able to show you, maybe, this bolt and that bolt. Don't know if that helps you too much because the camera was turned sideways and everything, but alright, I'll set the camera right there for now. Find something to fit them. They might be 21s as well. Yes, they are. They are also 21mm. And yes, I'm using a chrome socket, not an impact socket. No particular reason, it's just what I grabbed. Also, before you take these bolts out, if you would happen to have a rust lip on your rotor, you might want to pry your piston back in just a little bit. That way it'll slide up over the rust lip, but these rotors are like practically brand new and there's no lip whatsoever, so it should slide right off. So I'm not going to try to compress it at all. Now, as long as that'll stay there a second, I am going to go get a bucket. Because you do not want this whole assembly to hang from the brake hose or the ABS wire. It'd be really bad. So I'm going to try to get the back on screen here. I'm going to take this ABS wire out of the loop there. Oh, somebody has zip ties on there. That's nice. So anyway, take this whole assembly off and set it on the bucket. Just like that. That way it's not hanging on any wires or hoses. And then, wish I had a cameraman. Then the rotor will slide right off. Oh, good. My U-joint has a little bit of play in it too. Isn't that just sweet? I might show you how to do a U-joint too. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Next order of business. What do I want to do next? I think what I'm going to do is finish taking the ABS wire off because I do not want to unhook it down here because sometimes they get stuck in the hub, and if you try to pull it out it messes up the sensor. So I just unclip all the wires here, follow it up to the plug and unplug it and take it all down together. So let me go get something to cut the zip ties. I really miss having my tools. All I got is cheap stuff here, but it works, I guess. I'm just spoiled with all my other stuff. Now I need a little screwdriver. don't even know if you can see what I'm doing here. Trying to get this clip here off. Just like that. Now, sorry, I'm going to be in the way a minute. Okay, it looks like the connector is actually held on the back side of this. It's on the back side of this. There's all kinds of crap on my screen, and I don't like it. It's not going to show up on your screen, but on the actual camcorder screen. Yeah, it's behind this shock tower. It's held in with a little push pin. So, I don't have my little push pin pry thingy. So I'm just going to try to use a screwdriver and not mess anything up. If you can just get in behind it, it should come out pretty easily. There. Oh, there's a little bit of extra. No, not really. Gotta go this way with it. Chrysler has some kind of weird lock on this one. Well, gotta take the gloves off so I can feel what's going on here. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing here, but it's in a bad spot. It really is. Guessing that red piece pulls out. I've seen a lot of Chrysler safety clips, but I'm not familiar with that one. I do my best not to break these things. Some guys will just say, I just bust it off and be done with it. There it goes. I don't like to break stuff. Alright, so that's unplugged. Let me see if I can get you a close-up of that connector. Not very good, but this little red piece, you gotta slide that way, the way my finger's pointing, that way. You slide it that way, and then there's a little button under that you gotta depress and it slides right apart. So, back on the tripod. Now we got this wire clipped into here yet. And always pay attention to your routing. Good thing I'm recording it so I won't forget. So just unclip the rest of your wiring, pull it out, and then pull it through. Because if you end up ripping your wire, letting everything down, kind of defeated the purpose of unhooking it up there rather than here. And you can't see a thing. Alright. Now I'm going to try to find, I think I have some axle nut sockets here. Gotta get this axle nut off. That'll work. 36. And that's off. See if it's loose, and it is not. Normally I would take my air hammer with a rounded off, it's not really a chisel, it's just a rounded off pointed thing. Put it in there and just hammer it back in. If that doesn't work, you can spin your nut on a little bit and hit it with a hammer. Wouldn't recommend hitting it too awfully hard, but I usually put the nut on just so it's flush with the end of the axle. I'm doing it this way because I do not have my air hammer here. So hopefully it doesn't take much. Great. Yeah, it's pretty rusty in there. Let me see if I can find some penetrating fluid. I'm going to turn the camera off here for a minute. Okay, I got some penetrating fluid in there and hit it a little bit more, and it did start to move back. So before I push it any further, I want to get the, do I want to take them off? Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm going to take the bearing off. So there's 3 bolts on the back side, and they are 12 point. I have a 12 point 13 millimeter here. It fits on there real snug. I'm probably going to tap it on with a hammer, but that's what you want. You don't want it to fit loose. It'll strip them off real easy. So put this back in the tripod and see if I can make some noise. And put this over here. You might be able to see what I'm doing. That'll work. Alright. There's one. These bolts actually stick through just a little bit, so some of the threads are exposed to the salts and water and all kinds of crap around here in PA, and they don't like to come out. There's 2. Now, I'm probably going to need a short extension, I believe. Make sure. No, I might actually be able to get it without an extension. Oh yeah. That's the third one. Alright. Now in a perfect world, this bearing would fall right out of here now, but it doesn't. The nut's loose enough that it would move if it was going to. And let me just tap it. What you don't want to do is hit this ring out this way. That seems like the most obvious thing to do. And even though it may work, you could end up separating your bearings, and that's never a good thing. Because then when you go to retorque this nut, things go back together. Sometimes it ruins the bearings, so I just suggest not doing it, unless you're replacing the bearing anyway, and if you are doing that, well, beat the hell out of it. Go for it. I'm going to actually try hitting back here on the mounting area. I'm just actually going to rest a hammer on it and hit that hammer with a hammer. Don't think that's going to work, but nope. Here again, normally I would use my air hammer with that lovely little rounded over bit and hit there, then down here, up here, and just work it back and forth, and eventually it falls right out, and I've never had one damaged. I mean, it lets a little divot up here, but it doesn't hurt anything. So another thing you can do to get these out is put one of these bolts back in, thread it in a little bit. Probably a little bit more than what I can do by my fingers there. That'll work. And then, assuming you have Craftsman socket or something crappy, put it back on and go ahead and hit that. We're gaining. Alright. Wow, that was the axle binding up. Put one back in this side. Ain't my socket, can't beat the bolt or to screw it up for sure. Or the dust shield starts to get loose, you know you're making headway. It's not moving very fast though. I thought this would come apart easier than this. But that's where I thought wrong. She's coming. I'm going to take this nut off now. I shouldn't. I may have to hit that more. I don't know. In fact, maybe that's what's holding me up a little bit. I'm going to try tapping in on the axle again. Oh yeah, there it goes. Screw this one in a little bit farther. Or not. So it's in some. Yep, the top one's not coming out. Try this again. I miss my good tools. I really do. Try tapping on the backing here again with a hammer on a hammer. Oh, it's coming, but ever so slowly. Let's put one, it's slightly off now, it did turn. See if we can get it to turn back so the bolt hole lines up again. There we go. I guess if the axle doesn't want to come out, we could just slide the whole dang thing out since we have to anyway. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the hub and bearing off, and the axle's going to come out with it. So, it really doesn't make a difference at this point. I mean, you probably could do that without even ever taking that off. And you wouldn't have to retorque it, I guess, but I'm probably going to be doing a U-joint, so. Yeah, anyway, pull it all out. Set it aside. Okay, get this thing off the tripod. And this is where we're at. Pretty much down to where we need to be for the night. Just got your spindle and your, or your knuckle, I guess. Your knuckle and your ball joints and this little bracket, which I'll probably forget to put back on the first time I put the nut on. But, so now all I gotta do is take the cotter pins out and take the nuts off and separate them. So let me find some sockets and stuff to fit these and I'll be right back. Alright, I got some sockets to fit these nuts here. Really doesn't matter which one you take off first. So I guess I'll take the upper one off first. Set your bracket down the general way that it came off, and you'll hopefully remember how it was back on. And I'm going to start this nut back on, just a couple threads on the top. Actually, now I'm going to use the bottom one to do that. Oh yeah. Take the bottom all the way off first. Not first before the top one. I mean, I just mean take it all the way off and then spin it back on a few threads by hand. And all that's going to do is keep the spindle, the knuckle from falling to the floor. Now, a pickle fork would be great to get these separated here, but guess what? It's at work, not here. But I do have a hammer, so if I can, you can beat here and down here, and generally they'll come apart, as long as I don't have to beat the dang thing too awfully hard. I'll just do that. I'm going to beat it from this side because I'm right-handed. I'm going to put hammer on hammer again, so I hopefully, if I do miss, I won't hit anything as hard. And there she fell. Lift back up, take the nut off, and it's off. And that's about as far as I'm going to go today. I can't really move them by hand. Alright, I guess tomorrow I'll bring my ball joint press home and show you how that much is done. I'll press them out, press them back in, and I don't even really think I'm going to show you the reassembly after that, because that's, I'm sure there's other videos out on YouTube already on how to do this exact thing, so yeah, I'll bring my stuff home tomorrow, show you how to press them out and back in. That'll probably be the end of the video. So for now, see ya. Alright guys, back at it again tonight. Got my ball joint press here with me today. This, I don't think it really makes a difference, but this is the snap-on version of the ball joint press. I've had the other OTC brands and stuff, I just never really cared for them, but I like this one. It seems to, doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of pieces to it, but so far it's fit everything I've needed it to. But anyway, I guess we'll try to get this top one out here first. I've already got some adapters picked out. I'll slide that one on there. This top one has to go up through to come out. And of course there's not going to be enough room to get my impact wrench on the top of this, so I have to use a ratchet. It's going. Sometimes you can beat the old ones out with a hammer or a air hammer or something like that. But if you got the press, you might as well just use it, because it's, don't risk denting anything up or chipping any of your steel edges. So if you got the press, just use the press. There's the top one. Now I gotta find the adapters that fit the bottom one. It goes down through. Oh, excuse me. So, cool thing about the Snap-on is you can change this piece, which holds the cups on. You can change that out for just a little pusher pin. So, put the threaded piece up to the top hole, like so. And this receiver cup that I used for the top might actually work for the bottom. Yep, it'll work great. I think I can use my impact on this one. Maybe. Need a hammer. Alright, that one seems awfully tight for some reason. Take this back off and just make sure I'm not doing something stupid. No snap rings or anything. I think it did move just a hair, so there it goes. Alright, ball joints are out. Now what I like to do while they're out is take some sandpaper and clean up the holes here. Just helps it go together. Top is actually not bad. Alright, I gotta see who's texting me quick. The Matco guy. Yeah. Need a tool for tomorrow at work, and he says he can't have it till next week. That ain't gonna work, huh? Alright. Let me go grab the new ball joints. I think I mentioned it in the video, first part of the video yesterday, but I went with the Napa Napa's Better line, and check it out. Made in USA. I don't know if you can see that, but I doubt it. The glare. Anyway, made in USA. Doesn't happen all the time. So let's see. We're going to want to put the bottom one in first, since we had to go up through like that. And there's all the hardware, the dust boot. They give you a snap ring with this one. Nut, cotter pin, grease fittings. That's... Oops, don't be a retard. Yep, that'd be the bower. Just to be 100% sure. Actually, it won't fit in there. Yeah, it won't fit in there, so that's definitely the right one. Quick comparison. That'd be the girl. So, the only thing to make sure of that I can think of off the top of my head is when you're putting these in, the hole for the cotter pin, it's easier to put it in so that it goes through this way instead of this way. It's up to you how you want to put it in, really, but obviously the joint goes in from the bottom, so same thing, just turn it so the pin goes through this way. And you just don't do what I'm doing there and press it in the wrong way by accident, because you really shouldn't reuse one that's been pressed in once. So if you press it in the wrong way the first time, better just grab a new one. So find some cut to fit this thing. That will fit really nice. You can see it's pushing on this part of the joint, this ring. I'm not going to push on where it's crimped together here. So I'll use that to push. Then I need a cup to receive. It fits in there, so that'll sit on top. There's a center support pole in my garage, and it's right behind me. It makes it kind of a pain in the ass to work. So we gotta get her press again. Change out this for this piece. Let's see. That on there. And again, make sure your cotter pin is aiming the right direction. Typically going in, I'll use a ratchet at least to start it, so everything starts going straight. Then you can use an impact if you so desire, but I don't know, we'll see here. I may just run it all the way. Just eyeball it, make sure it starts straight. Going. And she bottomed out. That's what we want. snap ring for that unless it's for a different application, because fucking hood, there's not enough, excuse my language, there's not enough clearance for it when it comes up through there. I just double checked. It is seated fully. Make sure that it doesn't say anything about it in the directions after it's in. If there is not enough clearance for the axle universal joint to rotate when the ball joint grease fitting is in place, nope, that's not what we want. And it doesn't say anything at all about that snap ring, so I'm guessing it's just used in a different application that can use the snap ring, so. Make sure this is, yeah, this is the original lower ball joint. It's made the exact same way. It's got the groove for it, but it doesn't come up through far enough to utilize the groove, so everything's hunky-dory. So, open up the upper joint, show you how we press that one in, and this video will be pretty much done for you guys, except I get to do the other side yet. Yay for me. Really wish this hole wasn't here. Alright. Here's the upper. Same idea with the cotter pin hole going this way. That one goes in like that. So here again, we're going to try to find a cup that fits on this ring. You don't really want to push on the very top where it's crimped together or anything like that. I'm going to push on a solid part of the joint. Just happened to look down and notice they give you one of those threaded inserts that some of them take too. This joint must fit a lot of stuff. But that ain't going to be used on this either. Some of the knuckles have, you don't need to know that. We're working on a JK. So anyway, need to find a cup for that. That might actually be the closest one. Don't really want to use that. Yeah, I think that's going to be the closest one. As long as we get her centered, we'll be alright. So now we need a receiving cup. This one could be fun. Something small. Get started. No. Well, that sucks. I think I jinxed myself. Said at the beginning of this, this ball joint press has worked good for everything so far. I think it's going to work, I just don't really like how it's angled on there. I get a smaller cup. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but this cup actually has a slight angle to it. Let's see if we can make that. That'll do it. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Get this heavy thing back up here. I think that'll do it. There we go. The ball joints are pressed in. So at this point, just put your grease fittings in and reassemble, which I'm not going to show you how to reassemble. I mean, it's just the opposite of taking it apart, really. Just do yourself a favor and clean stuff up as you go. Use anti-seize on like the back of your bearing where it presses into the... I'll just show you. Where it presses, what doesn't press in, where it bolts onto here. Clean this up, anti-seize it so it comes apart easier next time. Put a little bit of anti-seize on your axle where it comes through the bearing, just so things come apart easier next time if need be. But top grease fitting, no worries. It did say in the directions about the lower one to put it in and kind of eyeball it. Probably just eyeball the other side since it's still together. See if you have enough clearance for the universal joint to rotate in here without knocking it off. They give you a little plug. If it looks like it's going to hit, you put the grease fitting in, grease it, take it out, put the plug in, and you're done. But usually there's enough clearance, but you just have to eyeball it and figure it out. But as far as this video, I think we're pretty much done here. If you have any questions, let me know. I said about possibly showing you the U-joint, but I actually did that last night. It's already installed and ready to put back together. It's laying over here. The new U-joint in there, the little grease fitting on the side. It takes the needle type fitting. This bearing laying, like I said. Clean everything up. It'll just make it, it'll go back together nicer and it'll come apart easier if you have to take it apart again. So, I think that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge. And have a good one.